The girl tried going into the wild without wearing a bra for the first time together, but she was knocked out and taken away by a wandering beastman. She was fucked beautifully for 10 hours. The next day, she unexpectedly gave birth to 3 little monsters of strange shapes. Filled with resentment, the woman would either beat or scold the children. She even tied them to a tree to attract the attention of wild beasts. But the kids not only weren't angry, they even happily knelt on the ground every day, begging for whippings, till the woman gave the second child to the hunting team as bait. The children were completely disappointed in their mother, so much so that the first thing they did after growing up was to torture and kill her. This birth mother, one was responsible for digging out the heart and liver, one was responsible for gouging out the eyes and cutting the mouth, one was responsible for chopping off the limbs. And in the apocalypse, Shi Yao, who possessed healing abilities, accidentally traveled into this vicious birth mother's body. After learning her final outcome, Shi Yao decided, while the kids were still young, to use a soft policy on the kids. At this moment, Shi Yao struggled to stay conscious and open her eyes, thinking she would see 2 cute little kids, never expecting what she saw were 2 strange white creatures, with goat heads, deer antlers, white fur, and lion bodies. It scared her so much she quickly closed her eyes again. Shi Nan took a look. The bad female had closed her eyes again. He quickly poked her face with his claw. "Hey, bad female, don't pretend to be dead." They were also afraid that she had really died. The beastmen of this tribe, they will definitely drive the 3 brothers out of the tribe. Shi Yao's head was throbbing badly at this moment. She tried to mobilize the healing art within her body, and actually discovered that her healing abilities had crossed over with her, along with the Bloodtooth Vine Whip. Feeling the physical pain slowly lessen, she moved her body, struggling to sit up. The 2 little ones saw her sit up, and frightened, quickly backed away several steps. Ji Yao looked at the 2 little ones' wary and fearful eyes, and an inexplicable sadness welled up in her heart. She had just thought about beckoning the 2 little ones in front to come and lead the way. But as soon as she moved, the 2 little ones ran off and disappeared. Forget it, there will be plenty of time later. This place wasn't far from the tribe. Relying on the original host's memories, she quickly found the direction back. After taking just 2 steps, she suddenly halted, turned around, and ran back. Damn it, she had actually forgotten about that little kid, Shi Mo. It's over. That damned original host actually left the second child, Shi Mo, with the hunting team to be used as bait. It was at this time that Shi Mo was bitten by a wild beast. His tail bitten off a section, and his left leg broken. She must find him before he gets injured. For some reason, her heart was pounding terribly at this moment. After running for almost an hour, she finally encountered the returning hunting team. Her eyes anxiously scanned the crowd, but she didn't see Little White. "It's Shi Mo." She rushed up to the team leader. Her hands tightly gripped the ORC's arms. "Where's Shi Mo? My Shi Mo, where is he? Why didn't you bring him back with you? What's wrong with you? That little brat was too badly injured. He probably won't survive anyway. So we left him there." The lead ORC was startled by her sudden action. He frowned, somewhat impatiently trying to shake off her hands, but hesitated because she was female, stiffening his body, not daring to move. "How could you do this? He's just a child. How could you be so cruel as to abandon him?" Her eyes were red, glaring angrily at the leader. ORC. A young ORC in the team couldn't help but speak up. "Wasn't it you who threw him to us as bait? Why are you acting all concerned now? I was confused back then. Just tell me where he is. I need to go find him." The lead ORC snorted coldly. "It's too late for you to go now. That area is full of wild beasts. He's probably been gnawed down to the bones by now." Shi Yao's mind exploded with a roar. Was she still too late? Without time to think, She dashed forward. The other ORCs, seeing a female rushing recklessly into the deep mountains, grew somewhat anxious. The ORC at the very back threw the prey from his shoulder to the ground. You take the prey back first. I'll go check on her. At this moment, Shi Yao was sprinting wildly through the dense forest. Sharp blades of grass cut her skin. Tree branches tangled her hair. She was completely unaware. Finally, in a low-lying area covered with fallen leaves, she saw that flash of white. The little white lion, Shi Mo, was curled up in a pile of leaves. His originally fluffy and beautiful fur was now messy and stained with blood. The fur on his left hind leg was dyed red with blood, hanging powerlessly against the ground. A section of his originally fluffy tail had been bitten off. The fur around the wound was caked with mud and blood. When Shi Yao saw this scene, her breath caught. Stumbling, she rushed to his side. Half kneeling on the ground, her hands trembling, she lifted his entire body. So severely injured, how did he manage to crawl all the way back to the tribe back then? Shi Mo struggled to open his eyes. When he saw it was her, his dark green pupils widened in disbelief. It must be a hallucination. Before his death, that bad female had already abandoned him. How could she possibly appear here? His eyes slowly closed again. But he was so unwilling. Why did they throw him to the hunting team as bait, only when he was picked up? Did he dare to believe this wasn't a dream? His mother was finally willing to hold him. But he was about to die. Shi Mo, I'm sorry. Your mother came too late. Weren't you hoping I'd be killed by wild beasts? His voice was weak, but every word was clear. Shi Yao opened her mouth, wanting to defend herself, but found she couldn't utter a single word. Seeing her silent admission, the warmth of being held grew cold bit by bit. She didn't love him. How could she feel sorry for him? He wanted to question her. Why was she so cruel to him? If she didn't want him, she could have just discarded him. Why did she let him be bitten to death? He opened his mouth several times. Finally, he only managed to say, after I die, can you be better to Shi Nan and Shi Bei? They can find their own food. Can you please stop hitting them? Just saying. These few sentences had already exhausted his strength. Shi Yao, while checking his body, shook her head and cried, "You won't die." When Dale arrived, he saw her collapsed on the ground, holding Shi Mo tightly in her arms, her whole body trembling. Shi Mo's eyes were tightly closed. His breath was faint. His small body twitched from time to time from the pain. The fallen leaves around were soaked red with blood, giving off a heart-palpitating smell of blood. Shi Yao had originally intended to use healing magic to treat Shi Mo and wait until his injuries were mostly better before returning. But she detected someone approaching and had no choice but to give up. While Dale hadn't gotten close yet, she secretly used healing magic to stop Shi Mo's bleeding. Dale stepped forward a few paces, went down on one knee, and reached out to check Shi Mo's breathing. His expression was grave. Still alive, don't delay us. Quickly return to the tribe to find the shaman for treatment. She knows. Such a severe injury, the shaman simply cannot cure it. Going back is just waiting for death. Shi Yao did not hand Shi Mo over to Dale. A beastman who abandoned his young is not worthy of his trust. He carried the pain-unconscious Shi Mo and started walking back. Hadn't even taken 2 steps. Subtle noises came from the surroundings. Be careful, Dale became alert. He shielded him behind. It must be the smell of blood that attracted foraging beasts. Shi Yao glanced at the tall figure blocking in front of him. Didn't say anything. Placed the unconscious Shi Mo on a higher tree branch. Summoned his innate weapon, the bloody-toothed vine whip's middle section. It had shown no reaction since arriving here. Dale just wanted to tell her to find a spot to hide, but then saw she was already prepared for battle. A flash of surprise passed through his eyes. No time to think more. The beasts were already closing in. They were 2 massive saber-toothed tigers. Dale swallowed nervously. He was a 3-star beastman. His ability and speed were much stronger than ordinary beastmen. One adult saber-toothed tiger he could barely handle. 2. And still having to protect the female beside him. He was afraid he might perish here. Shi Yao, you climb the tree and hide. But discovered Shi Yao paid him no heed. Swinging his whip, he charged towards the saber-toothed tiger closest to him. He wasn't yet using this body flexibly enough. But his bloody-toothed vine whip was coated with highly concentrated anesthetic powder. As long as she was chosen, the barbs on the whip would hook and tear through skin and flesh. The anesthetic powder would take effect immediately upon contact with the wound. The saber-toothed tiger seemed to look down on her. It didn't even dodge when it saw such a weak creature charging at it. Its large mouth gaping open. It pounced toward her. She swiftly leaped to the left, swiftly swinging the bloodthorn vine whip in her hand, successfully entangling the saber-toothed tiger's neck. Using the tiger's forward momentum, she pulled hard. The saber-toothed tiger's head slammed fiercely into a large tree trunk nearby. That strike used up all her strength. The saber-toothed tiger was left dizzy and disoriented from the impact. Combined with the effect of the highly concentrated anesthetic powder, it finally slowly closed its eyes and collapsed to the ground. Dale wanted to rush over to help, but he was trapped by another saber-toothed tiger, unable to break free. By the time he killed the saber-toothed tiger, he turned to look at Shi Yao, only to find her already handling the saber-toothed tiger in front of her. Was this still the Shi Yao he knew? Her technique was so skilled. It was almost on par with the beastmen who hunted year-round. How did you do it? He was deeply shaken. He, a 3-star beastman, was actually inferior to a female? I don't have a male beast to protect me. So naturally, I had to learn some skills for self-defense. Shi Yao continued working without pause, not caring whether Dale believed her or not. Let's take it back first. The smell of blood here is too strong. I'm afraid it might attract more fierce beasts later. Shi Yao also understood this logic, then quickly processed the most tender parts of the saber-toothed tiger's body. Take it back. Otherwise, this body of hers can't carry hundreds of pounds of prey. She strung the tender meat she cut out with vines. Holding Shi Mo, she continued hurrying back. Dale carried the saber-toothed tiger he killed and followed behind. Returned to the tribe. Shi Yao found home based on the plot description and the original host's memories. The family home was actually just a cave. Shi Nan and Shi Bei, the 2 little ones, were standing under the tree at the cave entrance, looking out for Big Brother and the bad female. She wouldn't get angry and run away, leaving us behind, right? Otherwise, why isn't she back so late? Shi Nan frowned. Pretending to be calm, he comforted. Little brother, she wouldn't. Even if she doesn't want us, she still has to come back. They have no other place to go in this cave. They can only wait for her to return. Even so, a trace of worry was revealed in the dark-colored pupils. Shi Yao saw the 2 little ones and didn't say anything. He quickened his pace and entered the cave. Shi Nan and Shi Bei, seeing Shi Mo covered in blood and unconscious, were startled. Shi Bei's eyes reddened. He asked his eldest brother, with a tearful voice, "What's wrong with second brother? Will he die?" Shi Yao felt a bit heartache. These little ones are too sensible, always thinking of each other. Shi Mo is injured. He initially wanted to say, "Go boil some water." But seeing the 2 little ones who had been tortured, he finally closed his mouth. Dale placed the saber-toothed tiger at the cave entrance and followed into the cave. He glanced around the cave and unconsciously frowned. "I'll go call the witch doctor." Shi Yao originally wanted to refuse, but ultimately nodded. "Sorry to trouble you." "Thank you." After waiting for the prey to leave, Shi Yao placed Shi Mo on the stone bed. Shi Nan and Shi Bei gathered around, looking at Shi Mo with worry. "I need clean water to clean his wounds. Can you do that?" "I'll go fetch water." Shi Nan turned and walked to a spot covered by an animal skin. After lifting it, a small wooden bucket was revealed. Calling it a bucket, it's actually just a hollowed-out piece of wood. Shi Nan opened his mouth, bit the edge of the wooden bucket, and ran outside. So that's how it's done. Shi Yao gained some new knowledge. They live in a cave at the edge of the tribe. It is very close to the river, outside the tribe. Shi Nan returned with half a bucket of water in about 10 minutes. She could not find a clean cloth. He could only choose a piece of animal skin that looked relatively clean. After washing it, he used it to wipe Shimo. Between the two children, she gently wiped Shimo's body. They were so shocked that their mouths hung open. "Brother, I think my eyes are broken." The bad female Shibei raised her head, wanting to see more clearly. Before she could finish speaking, her mouth was covered by Shi Nan's paw. Her raised head was also pushed down. Shi Yao wiped away the mud and blood clots from the fur around the wound. Now that her terminal cannot be used, she must save wherever possible. Another 10+ minutes passed before the shaman doctor slowly walked over. He examined Shimo's injuries. The shaman doctor shook his head. "This child's injuries are too severe. I can only alleviate his pain. I cannot cure him. Shaman doctor, please, you must save our family Shimo. This is his fate." After saying this, he turned to leave. "Shaman doctor, could you trouble yourself to give us some medicine to reduce the pain? Can you?" The shaman doctor inexplicably turned back to look at her. His eyes held inquiry. In the end, he still nodded. "Shi Nan, you go with the shaman doctor to get the medicine." This time, Shi Nan did not talk back to her. He obediently followed behind the shaman doctor to get the medicine. After they had gone far, Shi Yao walked over and pulled down the animal skin curtain, blocked the view from outside. Shi Bei fearfully shrinks in the corner. Seeing her approach, Shi Mo remembers the previous times they were thrown off the bed. Afraid that the severely injured Shi Mo will be thrown down by her. Summoning courage, he steps forward, raises his front paws to block the way. "No, don't throw, brother." Shi Yao is speechless. She just wants to treat his injuries. "Move aside, I need to treat him." Shi Bei does not listen to her. Move aside, trembling, he blocks Shimo. His eyes are full of fear. A warning whimper comes from his mouth. "I won't allow you to hurt brother." Shi Yao looks at this scene. Feeling somewhat helpless in her heart, Shi Yao decides to stop wasting words with Shi Bei, reaches out and gently grabs the scruff of Shi Bei's neck, lifts him up. Shi Bei immediately struggles, his 4 short legs kicking wildly in the air. During the struggle, the deer antlers on his head hit Shi Yao's chin. A bit hard, Shi Yao feels some pain from the poke, probably broke the skin. Shi Bei is frightened. His struggling movements freeze. His light gray eyes fill with tears. He injured the bad female. Would she throw him to the hunting team as bait? The more Shi Bei thinks about it, the more scared he becomes. A sob escapes his mouth. Shi Yao looks at Shi Bei's pitiful appearance, lets out a light sigh, puts Shi Bei down to the side, lifts her hand to rub her sore chin. "All right, I'm not blaming you." Shi Bei looked at Shi Yao with moist eyes. He simply did not believe her words. Second brother had just eaten a few more bites of meat and was thrown to the hunting team. "Don't be afraid, mother won't hit you all anymore." Shi Bei continued to look at Shi Yao warily. Seeing that she really didn't intend to blame him, he cautiously moved a little closer to Shi Mo again. Shi Yao used healing magic to treat Shi Mo's broken leg and severed tail. The healing magic could speed up recovery, but it would take a long time for the severed tail to grow back. The wound healed visibly to the naked eye. Shi Bei's pupils widened enormously. This bad female is a priestess. A priestess is a higher rank than a witch doctor. The witch doctor only knew simple herbal banding. A priestess can use healing energy to help severely injured people recover quickly. Their riverside tribe did not have a priestess. Shi Yao withdrew her hand. Her back was already soaked with cold sweat. Healing herself today had consumed too much healing energy. Now, after treating Shi Mo as well, her healing energy was completely depleted. A wave of fatigue washed over her. She just wanted to rest properly. She truly had no extra energy left to coax a child. She forced herself to walk to a nearby stone stool and sit down. Propping her forehead with both hands, she allowed herself to catch her breath. Seeing Shi Yao so weak, the fear in Shi Bei's heart lessened somewhat. He cautiously approached Shi Mo, using his nose, gently sniffing at Shi Mo's mostly healed wound, confirming that Shi Mo's breathing was steady. Only then did she completely set her heart at ease. After a good while, Shi Yao felt she had regained a little strength. She lifted her head to look at Shi Bei. Shi Bei seemed scalded by her gaze, immediately shrank back. His fluffy big tail curled up, covering most of his face. But he couldn't resist his curiosity. Carefully peeked out to look at Shi Yao. "Don't tell anyone. I will heal him. I've just arrived. Don't want to be too high profile. Having special abilities isn't necessarily a good thing. If not handled properly, it could even bring disaster." The original female lead, because she had the ability to foresee the future, was fought over by various powerful figures. Shi Bei, naive and unaware, nodded his little head. Didn't quite understand why it couldn't be told. But seeing Shi Yao's serious expression, he still subconsciously chose to obey. Shi Yao shifted her body, glanced around the cave. Pitch black. "Shi Bei, go make a fire," she suddenly spoke, startling Shi Bei so much, he rolled off the stone bed. As soon as he landed, he didn't dare delay. Hurried to the cave entrance to make a fire. Shi Yao didn't mean to order him around. The cave was just too dark, and she couldn't see clearly. In her memory, Shi Bei and the others did know how to make fire. Shi Bei worked quickly, had a fire going in a few minutes. The small flames gradually dispelled the darkness in the cave. Shi Yao adapted to the dark environment, looked around, found that Shi Nan hadn't returned yet. "Shi Bei, you wait at home. I'll go find Shi Nan." At this time, Shi Nan had just left the shaman's place, came out, and ran into a few young beast cubs who usually bullied them. He was anxious to bring the medicinal herbs back, wanted to avoid them, but was blocked on the way. At this hour, the beastkin were all at the tribe square, dividing the prey. Females generally didn't go out. No one noticed their situation at all. "This herb is the medicine the shaman gave for my brother. Why are you taking it away? Little monsters don't deserve to use our granny shaman's medicine." The little fox cub waved the snatched herbs. "We are not monsters. My brother is injured. This medicine was given to us by Granny Shaman." Shi Nan tried to snatch it back, but was blocked by the little brown bear and the little tiger. "Why would Granny Shaman give you herbs? You must have stolen this medicine. We are stopping you from doing bad things." The little brown bear waved its claws at Shi Nan. "You're talking nonsense." Shi Nan watched as the herbs given by the shaman were thrown on the ground and trampled to pieces. He was so anxious he was nearly in tears. "My mother said, unlucky beasts like you shouldn't be allowed to stay in the tribe. Should have died long ago." The little tiger stepped forward, making a move, as if to pounce on Shi Nan. By the time Shi Yao arrived, Shi Nan was already brawling with several young beastkin. Beastkin generally begin transforming at age 6. Looking from afar, it looked like several small animals were fiercely fighting and biting each other. Seeing this, Shi Yao rushed forward in a few steps, grabbed the little tiger riding on Shi Nan, and flung it aside like a chick. The little beastman was thrown and rolled on the ground several times. Before stopping, she then picked up several little brats who had just been cursing foully, carried them to the nearby manure pit and threw them in. With mouths so dirty, they ought to be washed properly. This was the place where the tribal beastmen usually went to the toilet. It was said they learned it from a large tribe. Very simple, just a large deep pit dug, with a few wooden sticks placed on top. Those few little brats picked up by Shi Yao hadn't even realized what was happening before they fell into the manure pit. "You unwanted female. How dare you throw us in here? I'll go back and tell my father. He'll deal with you." The little brown bear beastmen struggled in the manure pit, still not forgetting to threaten. Shi Yao crossed her arms, watching them coldly. She said disdainfully, "If you have the ability, tell your fathers to come find me. Let's see who dares to lay a hand on me and my child." Out of the corner of her eye, she spotted the little tiger trying to escape. He had been hitting the hardest earlier. She went over in a few steps and kicked him down. "If I ever see you bullying my child again, it won't be this simple. All right, let's go home." Shi Yao picked up Shi Nan and headed home. Under normal circumstances, Shi Nan would have struggled long ago. But this time, he didn't move, letting her hold him. He had heard those kinds of words since he was little, and was already used to them. He never expected the bad female to stand up for him. She seemed different now. The cave had only the light from the burning fire, and the faint, spreading aroma of roasted meat. Shi Yao had just finished roasting the meat, and was preparing to eat when messy footsteps approached from afar. Soon, several females led a group of beastmen, storming in aggressively. The leader was a slightly plump female, with tangled hair. Shi Yao's gaze moved away from the large red flower stuck in her bird's nest like hair, sweeping over it. Behind her were 3 burly beastmen, and beside her stood 2 other females, their hair equally messy and tangled. Who knew how many days it had been since they washed it? Behind them were also several beastmen, probably their beast husbands. It must be said, the beastmen in the beast world all have great figures, and their looks are handsomer than the next. Shi Yao clicked her tongue. "They've come to demand an explanation." "Well, Shi Yao, you actually dared to throw my child into the manure pit. Do you really think we're dead?" The leading plump female pointed her finger at Shi Yao, her face full of anger. Shi Yao met her gaze without fear, her voice calm. "Their mouths were unclean." "Insulting, my child? I merely gave them a slight punishment." Shi Nan stands behind Shi Yao, body slightly bowed, assuming a defensive posture. Shi Bei hides behind Shi Nan, looking timidly at Shi Yao. She brings the roasted meat to their mouths. "Good, go over there to eat." Shi Nan did not take the roasted meat, and was even startled, retreating several steps. There had been situations like this before. She had beaten the young beastmen who bullied them. Their beast fathers and beast mothers came looking for trouble. The bad female not only didn't help them, but even joined in beating them. This time must be the same. Seeing Shi Nan react like this, Shi Yao's heart felt as if struck by a heavy hammer, aching dully and intensely. She knew the cubs had suffered too much injustice in the past. That's why they were so wary of her. She raised her hand to pat Shi Nan's head. But Shi Nan thought she was angry, and was going to hit him, so he turned his head and dodged to the side. Shi Yao awkwardly withdrew her hand, then looked at Shi Bei, who was shaking with fear. "Shi Bei, believe mother. This time, I won't let anyone harm. You two go over there to eat the roasted meat. Mother will handle things here." Shi Bei shakes his head fearfully, hides further behind Shi Nan, bites his tail and pulls him backward. The fat female, seeing herself ignored, grows even angrier. "I don't understand any petty schemes. I only know you harmed our cubs. You must give us an explanation today." Shi Yao puts down the roasted meat, stands up and walks step by step towards the female. "You usually don't discipline your own brats. I'm teaching them a lesson for you. Shouldn't you be thanking me? How dare you have the nerve to demand an explanation from me?" The fat female, shamed into anger, screamed and lunged at Shi Yao. The 2 females behind her also charged forward. Shi Yao sidestepped, easily dodging the fat female's attack. With a smooth pull, the fat female couldn't stop her momentum, and fell face first into a dog style. Seeing this, the other 2 females, closed in from both sides. Reaching out to grab Shi Yao's face, Shi Yao quickly crouched down, executing a sweeping leg move. And the two females were tripped and fell to the ground. "You bunch of trash." The fat female climbed up from the ground, shouting at her beast husbands. "What are you still standing there for? Teach her a lesson for me." The beastmen looked at each other. Tribal rules stated that beastmen cannot beat females. Light offenses are punished. Heavy offenses result in expulsion from the tribe. Seeing they still weren't moving, the fat female, furious, started cursing. "Can't even get you to listen, can I? Whoever doesn't take action today, I'll abandon them when we get back." Upon hearing this, the several beast husbands immediately panicked. Compared to being driven out of the tribe, they were more afraid of being abandoned by a female. Once abandoned by their female owner, they would become discarded beasts and would have to endure the torment of the contract's backlash every day, till death. A tall and burly ORC roared angrily, threw a punch directly at Shi Yao. The fist carried a whooshing sound through the air. Shi Yao sidestepped swiftly, barely and narrowly dodging the punch. She seized the opportunity, suddenly delivered a fierce elbow strike, heavily hitting the ORC's side waist. The ORC grunted with a muffled sound, but did not retreat in the slightest, turned around and sent another kick flying towards her. "Ori, you useless piece of trash. Can't even handle a single female, you fat female." Seeing that her husband hadn't subdued Shi Yao, but was instead beaten until his face was flushed red with anger. "Why aren't you few still going up?" She pointed at another 3 people to the side. "Aji, don't be angry. We'll go over right now and capture her to vent your anger." Several beast husbands also swarmed forward together, trapping Shi Yao in the middle. The opposing side had greater numbers and strength, soon forced her into a difficult situation again. Just as Shi Yao was struggling somewhat, a thunderous, commanding roar suddenly came from outside the cave. "Everyone stop!" The crowd turned their heads to look, saw a male beastman, approximately 40 years old, walk in. His gaze swept over the crowd, finally landing on Shi Yao. His expression was complex. The fat female, seeing the newcomer, as if finding a reliable backer, quickly complained tearfully, "Chieftain, you must uphold justice for us. This Shi Yao threw our child into the manure pit, and also injured so many of our people." The chieftain took a glance at the few females who had been beaten, black and blue. The eyelid twitched. "You, Shi Yao," looked at the clan leader. "It was her child who insulted my child first. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I stepped in to teach them a lesson. Just because I don't have a male to back me up, does that mean my child deserves to be bullied?" The clan leader frowned slightly, his gaze shifting back and forth between Shi Yao and the plump female. Seeing the clan leader like this, Shi Yao thought he didn't plan to intervene, no matter why he came today. Since he's here, he shouldn't expect to leave easily. "If it weren't for me back then," she pointed at the females in front of her, crying and screaming hysterically. They were the ones who were captured by the rogue beasts and abused. "But how did they treat me, their savior? They insult me, curse me, and even want to hit my child. Let their cubs snatch our things. Now, we still have to let her beast husbands beat us to death. What gives them the right?" The cave was completely silent. Everyone's gaze fell on Shi Yao. The fat female's face turned pale, then flushed. She opened her mouth, wanting to refute, but was left momentarily speechless by Shi Yao's fierce accusations, blocking her words. After a long while, the fat female regained her composure. "Who asked you to save us? You were the one who stepped forward back then. Maybe you're in cahoots with the rogue beasts, deliberately putting on this act. Now, you're trying to distort the truth." Shi Yao was infuriated by her shamelessness. "Group leader, you must uphold justice for me. I risked my life to save them back then, only to end up like this. How can they be so ungrateful? Aren't they afraid of being forsaken by the beast god? Everyone knows. When those rogue beastmen attacked, if it weren't for me risking my life to lure them away, the females of our tribe would have surely faced disaster. Now that things have come to this, I haven't received a single word of thanks. Instead, I'm met with their sarcasm and mockery. You female beastkin, you keep saying my cubs are forsaken by the beast god. But who truly deserves to be forsaken by the beast god? You repay kindness with enmity. Bully the weak. Aren't you afraid your actions will anger the beast god and bring calamity upon the entire tribe? The crowd began to stir. Some people showed uneasy expressions, recalling the scene when Shi Yao returned covered in wounds that day. But the fat female still stubbornly held her ground. Don't you use the beast god to scare us. Those little freaks of yours are the ones forsaken by the beast god. Keeping them here is what will bring disaster to the tribe. Hearing this, Shi Bei couldn't help but tremble. His eyes instantly reddened. His beast ears drooped slightly. Shi Nan, however, glared angrily at the fat female. But out of fear, he hid a little further behind Shi Yao. Shi Yao shielded the two children behind her, glaring furiously at the fat female. Watch your mouth. What? Forsaken by the beast god? It's just nonsense you fools made up. Stop making excuses. Even the witch doctor said they're freaks. Since when is the witch doctor always right? Shi Yao retorted without backing down. She didn't care if these words would offend the witch doctor. If it weren't for those words, she said, Shi Nan and the others would have had it so rough. A witch doctor is nothing more than flesh and blood. It's not the beast god himself. On what basis do you draw such a conclusion about my kid? Yourselves have no opinions of your own. Only know how to use the witch doctor's words to bully a few brats. Aren't you ashamed? The fat female was bombarded with a series of questions from Shi Yao. He was left somewhat speechless, but still argued stubbornly. The witch doctor is the wisest in our tribe, the one who can best communicate with the beast god. What he says definitely cannot be wrong. Everyone thinks your children are monsters. Keeping them around is nothing but a calamity. Shi Nan's small face flushed red with anger. Peeking his head out from behind, Shi Yao, shouting loudly, "You're talking nonsense. We are not monsters. We have never done anything to harm the tribe." Shi Bei, also nervous, dug his claws into the ground, struggling hard to hold back tears. His fluffy tail puffed up behind him. We are not some calamity. We are all trying our best to contribute to the tribe. Shi Yao, suppressing her heartache, lifted her head and stared directly at the plump female. Did you hear that? My children are much kinder than all of you. They never once thought about causing trouble for the tribe. On the contrary, it's your children who, all day long, rely on their greater numbers to bully the weak. This is the true tragedy of our tribe. At this moment, a female, who had been silent the whole time, muttered under her breath, "While what you say is true, their beastly forms are just too strange. It gives people the creeps just looking at them." Shi Yao's gaze shifted to her. Should strange looks be grounds for discrimination? The beast god created all living things, each inherently unique. You, judging by appearances, is the real disrespect to the beast god. If you dismiss someone just because of their looks, then how are you any different from the wild beasts outside the tribe? The plump female was left speechless by Shi Yao, unable to come up with a retort for a moment. She could only puff up her cheeks and say, "Hey emph. Anyway, nobody will accept them. Just you wait and see." Shi Yao let out a cold laugh. "I don't need your acceptance, but I'm warning you. Stop speaking ill of my children. Otherwise, I won't be polite." Shi Yao looked towards the tribe leader. In this tribe, apart from the shaman, he holds the most authority. If he spoke up to stop this, the children would have an easier life in the tribe. Tribe leader, do you also think my children are monsters? Shi Yao, no matter what, they are the tribe's children. You have my word. I won't let other kids bully them anymore. The clan leader's words seemed reassuring, but they didn't directly address the issue. This made Shi Yao feel even colder inside. If it weren't for the long distance to the next tribe, she wasn't sure whether the next tribe would also ostracize them. Otherwise, she would definitely take the kids and leave this tribe. She looked at the clan leader, her eyes carrying a hint of disappointment. Clan leader, I only hope the tribe can treat my children fairly. Don't treat them differently just because of their beast forms. The clan leader's eyes shifted uneasily, cleared his throat, and said, the tribe has always revered the beast, God's will. Everyone also follows the shaman's words as guidance. The children's beast forms are indeed too unusual. It's inevitable to cause concern among the tribe. But since I've spoken, I will ensure they aren't bullied. Shi Yao wanted to say more, when the plump female interjected sarcastically, the clan leader has already said this much. Aren't you satisfied? Don't tell me. You want everyone to treat them like treasures? Shi Yao gave the plump female a cold glance. The plump female shrank her neck in fear from his look. Not daring to say more, Shi Yao turned to the clan leader and said, Clan leader, I only hope the tribe can discard its prejudices. Although my children have unusual beast forms, they have kind hearts, and will contribute to the tribe in the future. If they are isolated just because of their appearance, it's too unfair to them. The clan leader pondered for a moment and slowly said, rest assured, I will restrain the clansmen, so the children will no longer suffer verbal harm. Shi Yao also knew that changing the clansmen's views was not something that could be done overnight. So she nodded slightly. Then thank you, clan leader, but if anyone mistreats my child again, I will definitely not hold back. The plump female and others listened, their faces showing displeasure. But they did not dare to say more in front of the clan leader. The clan leader's gaze swept over everyone present, his tone serious. In the tribe, we should help each other and live in harmony. Shi Yao, you saved everyone. This kindness should not be forgotten by the tribe, but you threw the child into the manure pit. This action was indeed excessive. Shi Yao was about to defend herself, but the clan leader raised his hand to stop her and continued. And Shi Yao has saved your lives, yet you show no gratitude and even allow your children to bully hers. This truly violates the tribe's rules. Shi Yao sneered coldly in her heart. She didn't believe that over all these years, the clan leader was unaware of the situation. She and her orphan child faced within the tribe. The plump female and others lowered their heads, not daring to meet the clan leader's gaze. In this incident, both sides are at fault. Shi Yao, although you acted out of a fierce desire to protect your child, but he acts recklessly. You were punished to follow the gathering team into the mountains to gather food for one day. As for you, his gaze swept over the plump female and her companions. You are each fined to contribute 10 jin of meat and 1 animal hide from your families as compensation to Shi Yao. And you must apologize to Shi Yao. The plump female and the others showed reluctance on their faces, but under the tribe leader's authoritative gaze, they did not dare to say anything more. Tribe leader, this is unfair. The plump female muttered quietly about why she felt it was unfair. If it weren't for considering your usual contributions to the tribe, you would be severely punished today. When your children are bullied, you feel heartache. Then, when Shi Yao's child is bullied, how should she feel? She wouldn't feel heartache. The tribe leader's gaze swept over. The plump female immediately fell silent. She reluctantly walked up to Shi Yao and said in a low voice, Shi Yao, I'm sorry. The other females also followed with apologies. Shi Yao only nodded. She did not say whether she forgave them or not. A moment later, peace returned to the cave. Shi Yao looked in the direction where the tribe leader had left. After pondering for a moment, she turned to look at the 2 children. Shi Yao walked to Shi Nan and Shi Bei's side. She crouched down My darlings, were you scared just now? Don't be afraid. From now on, Mother won't let anyone bully you again. Shi Bei initially wanted to hide out of fear, but he forcibly restrained himself. Shi Yao saw Shi Bei's instinct to avoid her, still holding back. Her heart ached with a pang. She knew that the long-term harm had filled Zaize with fear and wariness towards intimate contact. She tried her best to make her voice sound even gentler. Little Bei, is here. No one will be able to hurt you from now on. Shi Nan looked at Shi Bei, who was being held in the bad female's arms, feeling a little envious. The bad female had never spoken to him so gently. Shi Yao picked up Shi Bei, walked over to the fire. The hard-earned roasted meat, during the earlier fight, had fallen to the ground. It was trampled back and forth. It was no longer edible. Shi Yao looked at the dirtied meat on the ground, sighed, picked up another piece of fresh meat, and skillfully skewered it on a branch, put it on the fire and start grilling. Shi Nan and Shi Bei stared at the dirty grilled meat on the ground, swallowing their saliva. They hadn't eaten for a day. Shi Nan couldn't hold back any longer. He hesitated for a moment, still slowly extended his little paw towards that piece of grilled meat on the ground that had been trampled dirty. Picked it up. The grilled meat was covered in dust and dirt. It looked utterly miserable. But in the eyes of Shi Nan and Shi Bei, at this moment, it emitted an irresistible temptation. Shi Bei looked at the grilled meat in Shi Nan's hand, his eyes full of longing. His little nose twitched as he sniffed the lingering aroma of the meat. Shi Yao turned her head and saw this scene. Her heart ached with a pang of pain. She stopped the action of grilling new meat in her hands, and said softly, Shi Nan, that piece of meat is dirty. You'll get sick if you eat it. Wait a little longer, the new grilled meat will be ready soon. Shi Nan had never thought that the meat grilled by Shi Yao would have a portion for them. Before, if she couldn't finish it, she would just throw it all away and not give it to them. They always picked up what she threw on the ground to eat. So hearing Shi Yao's words now, Shi Nan was a bit stunned. Would this bad female really give them the grilled meat to eat? Or was she planning to wait until they ate it, then use it as an excuse to sell them off? But his stomach was growling with hunger. The dirty meat in his hand was really tempting. Shi Bei looked at Shi Nan with eager eyes, and said in a low voice, Big brother, I'm so hungry. Shi Nan looked at his younger brother. She looked at Shi Yao again. After hesitating for a while, she still handed the dirty piece of roasted meat in her hand to Shi Bei. Shi Yao looked at the two cubs, her eyes turning red. Her heart ached with sadness. Shi Bei, don't eat it. Hearing her voice, Shi Bei was so scared that he closed his mouth, nearly biting Shi Nan's paw. Shi Nan glared discontentedly at the bad female. Shi Yao pretended not to see it, and told him to go check if Shi Mo was awake. Thinking of his severely injured younger brother, Shi Nan got up and ran toward the stone bed inside the cave. The cave was very dark, but the beastman's vision was unaffected. Shi Yao quickly sped up her movements, continuously turning the roasting meat. Shi Bei lay at her feet, staring unblinkingly at the roasting meat over the fire. Soon, the charred aroma spread. Not only was the cave filled with the smell of roasted meat, but even she and the two little ones were drooling with hunger. Shi Nan returned, and lay down beside Shi Bei without a word. Shi Yao gently scratched his belly with her toe. Is Shi Mo awake? Shi Nan grunted discontentedly, but didn't move away. The cave suddenly fell quiet, with only the sizzling sound of the roasting meat, and the occasional crackling of the firewood. As the aroma grew stronger, Shi Yao handed the roasted meat to them. The two little ones excitedly sat up, and carefully reached out their paws to take it. Eat without worry. It was mother's fault in the past. From now on, I won't let you go hungry anymore. Shi Nan and Shi Bei did not respond to her words. They began to eat wolfishly. After eating their fill, Shi Yao used the animal skin she had previously used to wipe Shi Mo's body. to wipe their paws instead. Shi Nan and Shi Bei were somewhat resistant, but dared not disobey. Shi Yao returned after pouring water. Looking at Shi Mo, who was still unconscious on the stone bed, she estimated he would sleep until tomorrow morning. She was just about to call the two little ones to bed when she noticed Shi Nan jump off the stone slab and head towards the outside of the cave. This little brat, what is he doing going outside so late instead of sleeping? Shi Nan returned. Shi Nan's steps did not stop. He walked to the large tree outside the cave, leaped onto the tree trunk. Familiar, he lay down. Shi Nan wasn't coming to bed to sleep. What are you doing running up a tree? Shi Nan swung his tail and buried his head. Shi Nan, you get down here. Repeatedly opposing me. Shi Yao was also getting angry. Was it you who wanted us to take turns guarding outside to attract wild beasts? Hearing these words, Shi Yao's heart suddenly shook violently, instantly recalling the original owner's heinous actions. The original owner had once tied them, shortly after their birth, to a tree trunk outside the cave. Their cave was located on the edge of the tribe, originally fraught with danger. The cave entrance wasn't blocked by a stone slab, only an animal skin curtain. If any wild beasts invaded, they would be the first to bear the brunt, the sacrificial victims. The original owner clearly intended to use the beasts' hands to eliminate them. Shi Yao's eyes instantly reddened. Her heart ached so much she could hardly breathe. Mother Shi Nan was wrong before. I won't let you do these dangerous things anymore. Come down quickly, it's not safe outside. Go back to the cave to sleep. But Shi Nan stubbornly refused to move, muttering, you used to trick us out like this before too, only to deceive them into the deep forest, the territory of fierce beasts. If it weren't for the hunting team passing by just then, they would have been eaten without a trace left. Shi Yao walked a few steps to the base of the tree, looked up at Shi Nan. Mother Shi Nan won't deceive you anymore in the future. Look, didn't Mother protect you and Shi Bei today? Believe Mother this time, okay? Shi Nan slowly raised his head. He seemed to be weighing the truth of Shi Yao's words. After a long time, he spoke softly. Then promise you won't throw us out again in the future. Shi Yao immediately raised her hand, indicating Mother promises. I won't let you suffer the slightest harm from now on. If I break this oath, may I be struck by lightning. She truly felt heartache for them. You don't need to swear. Shi Nan jumped down from the tree and ran into the cave. Shi Yao instinctively reached out to catch him. Just happened to grab his tail, lifted and scooped the whole one into her arms. Shi Nan fluttered a couple of times in her embrace, wanting to break free, but found that Shi Yao was holding him tightly. Unable to break free, he turned his head away angrily, no longer looking at her. Shi Yao carried Shi Nan as she walked into the cave. She said softly, Shi Nan, Mother knows you're angry inside, but Mother truly wants to be good to you. Returning to the cave, Shi Bei had already been woken by the earlier commotion. He looked at them with sleepy eyes. Big brother, what's wrong with you? Shi Nan snorted. He didn't speak. Shi Yao, holding Shi Nan, walked to the stone bed and sat down. She placed Shi Nan on the inner side of the bed, reached out and rubbed Shi Bei's little head. Sleep. Mother will protect you. Early morning, just after Shi Yao had returned from washing up by the river, she encountered the beastmen who had come to deliver meat and animal pelts to them. In total, they received 4 animal pelts and 40 jin of meat. The beastmen here had already learned to use salt to cure and make dried meat. What they delivered was all dried meat. Shi Yao placed the animal pelts on the stone bed, then hung the dried meat on the wooden rack at the cave entrance, used for airing out the animal hide skirts. Looking at the empty cave, she planned how to renovate it. Barring any unexpected events, she would probably have to live in this tribe for a while longer. In another month, the cold season would arrive. She would have to wait until the cold season ended before leaving. As she was thinking this, Shi Nan came in carrying half a bucket of water, then conscientiously went to start a fire. Shi Yao walked to the side, cleaned the heavy stone pot thoroughly, and placed it on the stove platform built from a few stones. Shi Mo was already awake. His severe injuries had not yet healed, and it involved damaged muscles and bones. Must nourish properly. Shi Yao took the fresh saber-toothed tiger tender meat that was left from last night. A stone knife with thick slices. Not handy at all. Couldn't even cut through the meat. If only her terminal could be used. It was filled with various emergency medicines, and also many cold weapons. Hot weapons bad female. I'm going to the river to fetch more water. Shi Nan's childish voice sounded, interrupting Shi Yao's train of thought. She looked at her sensible eldest son, reached out and flicked his forehead. No manners, call me mother. Shi Nan snorted, opened his mouth, bit the edge of the wooden bucket, and ran out. Shi Yao called from behind. Brat, be careful. Don't run too far. Shi Yao placed the sliced meat into the steaming stone pot. Shi Bei lay nearby, occasionally poking the fire, adding to the fire. Shi Bei later accompanied mother to gather. Okay? Shi Bei heard this. His whole body stiffened. Was it his turn? Yesterday's warmth was indeed just a dream of his. I'll go with you. A slightly hoarse, child's voice sounded from behind. The person and the beast turned their heads simultaneously. Shi Mo had already jumped off the bed and was walking towards them. Shi Bei's eyes sparkled with light. Second brother, you can get out of bed? Shi Mo lifted a paw and gently patted its furry head. Brother is fine. Shi Bei nudged it with his head. Even his tail was wagging joyfully. I don't want to become a cripple later. You'd better go back to bed and lie down now. As soon as Shi Yao's voice was heard, the cheerful atmosphere instantly froze. Shi Mo thought about how he had eaten a few more bites of meat, and was then thrown to the hunting team as bait. The pain of his hind leg being broken and his tail being bitten off instantly swept through his entire body. The joy he originally felt from being able to get out of bed vanished without a trace. I don't need you to care. I am your mother. If I don't care about you, who will? Didn't you abandon me? Why do you still care about me? Shi Mo's eyes reddened. He turned his head away and stopped looking at Shi Yao. Shi Yao's heart ached. Her tone unconsciously softened. Mo, how could mother abandon you? It was mother's fault yesterday. I shouldn't have been so impulsive and put you in danger. Shi Bei, on the side, anxiously used his paws to scratch the ground, looking at Shi Mo, then at Shi Yao. Mother, I'll gathering with you. Please don't scold, second brother. Hearing Shi Yao's words, Shi Mo's body trembled slightly. But stubborn as he was, he still didn't turn his head. Shi Yao continued, Mo, mother was just so angry at the time that she lost her senses. That's why she made that decision. Seeing you injured, mother's heart was shattered. Her voice carried a hint of a sob. She reached out and gently placed her hand on Shi Mo's back, smoothing his fur. Shi Mo avoided her hand and shouted tearfully, You're lying. You threw me out so heartlessly yesterday. How could you possibly feel sorry? I was almost torn to pieces by those ferocious beasts. Thinking of yesterday's despair, my slightly softened heart was sealed once again. Shi Bei anxiously paced around in circles, his big eyes full of worry. Second brother, Amu knows she was wrong. Your injuries were all healed by Amu. Please forgive Amu, Shi Bei said, rubbing his head against Shi Mo's leg, trying to soothe his ruffled fur. Shi Bei, how can you call her Amu? How she treated us before? Have you forgotten? Shi Bei let out a wronged whimper, lay on the ground and pawed at the earth. After steeling himself for a long time, he finally managed to say, But she has changed for the better. She is good now. Shi Yao looked at Shi Mo, his eyes full of heartache. Amu truly knows she was wrong. Amu promises. From now on, no matter what happens, she will always consider your safety first. She won't act so recklessly anymore. Please forgive Amu this once. Just at that moment, Shi Nan returned, carrying a bucket of water in his mouth. What he saw was the sight of his two younger brothers huddled together. Thinking Shi Yao had bullied them again in his absence, Shi Nan abruptly threw the bucket down. Water splashed everywhere. He charged over furiously, glaring angrily at Shi Yao. "You wicked female, bullying them again. I'll fight you to the death." Saying this, she flailed her arms and lunged at Shi Yao. Seeing this, Shi Bei hurriedly used his body to block Shi Yao and shouted, "Big brother, it's not like that. Mother is apologizing to second brother. Mother knows she was wrong." Shi Nan stood frozen in place, his eyes wide and round, looking at Shi Bei with disbelief. Shi Yao carried Shi Mo back to the bed. This time, Shi Mo did not struggle. "Shi Mo, I know it's hard for you to believe right now, but mother is truly determined to change. Letting you get hurt this time is the thing mother regrets most in her life." Shi Nan stood to the side, his expression somewhat awkward, realizing that he had misunderstood Shi Yao, but he couldn't bring himself to apologize. He just muttered under his breath, "Who knows if you're really sincere, or if it's just empty talk again." Shi Yao looked up at Shi Nan, her expression serious. "Shi Nan, mother will prove it with her actions. In the past, mother failed to protect you all and let you suffer many grievances. That won't happen anymore." Shi Bei also chimed in from the side. "Big brother, really seems to know she was wrong. Should we give mother another chance? I don't want to be without a mother." Shi Mo, lying on the bed, hesitated for a moment, but still spoke up. "I only believe you this one time. I hope you won't let us down again." Shi Yao nodded vigorously. "Mother won't let you down. Take good care of your injury. Wait until the injury has healed. If you want to seek revenge, I won't stop you." Jimo shut his mouth. Shi Yao returned to the stone pot, stirred it a few times with simple wooden chopsticks. Watching the bubbling meat soup, she sighed. "No bowls, no salt. What kind of miserable, wretched life is this? Even though there's no proper dinner, we still have to eat." She took a few clean leaves, picked out the meat slices and placed them on the leaves, brought them to the stone bed for Shi Mo, then called the two little ones to eat. Shi Nan and Shi Bei obediently walked to the stone pot, imitating Shi Yao's actions. They tried to pick out the meat slices with leaves, but couldn't manage to pick them up at all. Several strands of their fur even got burned off. Shi Nan threw down the wooden stick in his hand, simply giving up on eating. Shi Bei looked at Shi Yao with a pitiful expression, wanting to eat, but unable to scoop it up. Shi Yao walked over, helped them pick out the meat slices, and placed them on clean leaves, thinking that no matter what, she must make a few bowls today. While eating, Shi Nan secretly observed Shi Yao, seeing her attentively caring for Shi Mo. The slight awkwardness in his heart dissipated quite a bit. Not long after, a female came to call him to go gathering together. Shi Nan was worried about her. Even if she took only Shi Bei, he still wanted to follow. She refused him. "You stay and take care of Shi Mo." Shi Mo was also worried. He just started to speak, but was cut off by Shi Yao. "No room for discussion. So it's decided." After saying this, she held Shi Bei and left the cave. Following a few females from the tribe, they walked together towards the outside of the tribe. The females traveling together all deliberately kept their distance from Shi Yao and occasionally whispered quietly. Their eyes were full of disdain. "I really don't know how she has the nerve to carry that little monster out. We'd better stay away from her. Who knows what kind of disaster she might bring us," a female said, curling her lips. Shi Bei moved restlessly in Shi Yao's arms. Shi Yao held him tighter, soothingly stroking his back. "Be good, Zhao Bei. Don't listen to them. You and your brothers are the cutest babies." At this moment, they were about 10 minutes away from the tribe, accompanied and protected by two beastmen. "There are quite a few wild vegetables here. Hurry, come over today. That female named Shi Yao called out from not far away. Several females heard her call and swarmed around her. As soon as Shi Yao approached, she was intentionally bumped by a female and almost fell. Yeah, are you blind? Hurry up and get away. Don't bring us bad luck. That female shrilly shouted, as if she had touched something filthy. Shi Yao steadied herself and looked at her calmly. We are all here gathering food for the tribe. Is this necessary? Being with a female like you, who gives birth to monsters. We're afraid we won't gather anything good. Shi Yao gritted her teeth, endured it and ignored them, turned to look for wild vegetables elsewhere. In this world, no one yet knew how to weave back baskets. The bamboo baskets used were all animal skin bags sewn from hides. Shi Yao thought she would need one herself in the future, so she used materials at hand, made a simple basket from vines. Back baskets like these were rare even in the interstellar era. Relying on memory, Shi Yao intertwined and wound the vines together. Soon, the rudimentary form of a basket appeared. The other females finished gathering wild vegetables, came over in 2s and 3s toward Shi Yao, saw Shi Yao sitting fiddling with vines. The animal skin bag beside her was flat, containing very few wild vegetables inside. Immediately flew into a rage. What time do you think it is? And you still have the leisure to play with these? Did you come to gather or to play? While we work hard gathering, she just lazes around here. Let's see how she explains herself to the group leader later. Another female chimed in, her eyes full of schadenfreude. Shi Yao lifted her head. Which eye of yours saw me playing? I'm making this basket, thinking it will make gathering more convenient later. And it can hold more things. Pa, that's just an excuse for your laziness. A short-tempered female directly reached out a hand, wanting to knock over the unfinished basket in Shi Yao's hands. Shi Yao swiftly dodged sideways, shielding the basket behind her. A cold gleam flickered in the depths of his eyes. You don't have to believe me. But don't break my things. So what if it's broken? Your kind of offspring are all monsters. How could anything you make be any good? That female was unrelenting, assuming a posture, ready to start a fight. Shi Bei, standing to the side, was trembling with fear, clutching tightly onto Shi Yao's clothes. Shi Yao being pointed at and scolded repeatedly. His temper flared up as well. He drew his whip and lashed it towards a nearby tree. The tree trunk, as thick as a fist, instantly split in two. If I hear anyone insult my child again, next time the whip will land on you. The females who were just arrogant and domineering moments ago were now, at this sudden action from Shi Yao, frightened to the point their faces turned pale. That female who originally intended to reach out and knock over the basket, her legs even went weak. She unconsciously retreated several steps. Her eyes were full of terror. Since when did this female Shi Yao become so powerful? The atmosphere froze for several tens of seconds. A slightly bolder female spoke up, gathering her courage. How dare you act like this? Aren't you afraid the clan leader will blame you? Shi Yao snorted coldly. If the clan leader only believes your one-sided story and cannot distinguish right from wrong, then Shi Yao, do not fear such blame. But if anyone dares to speak ill of my child again, I will definitely not let them off easily. As her words fell, a whip lashed beside that female's feet. That female was directly scared until her legs went weak, and she fell sitting to the ground. The other females, fearing the combat prowess Shi Yao had just displayed, kept their mouths shut, not daring to make a sound. None of them wanted to provoke her wrath. They walked together towards the other side. Shi Yao continued fiddling with the basket in her hands. After a short while, exclamations of surprise came from afar. Shi Yao didn't pay it much mind. She finished weaving the basket, looked towards the lush green forest surrounding her. Her eyes hurt. She closed them to relieve the pain. When she opened them again, the world before her had changed. The originally ordinary plants, in her eyes, had turned into several colors. There were 4 colors: green, black, purple, and red. Her gaze rested on a green plant. After 3 seconds, the plant's name and its characteristics appeared beside it. She then looked towards the other colored ones. They all displayed different characteristics and uses. Ji Yao took 5 minutes to digest this shocking information. Green ones are edible. Black ones are poisonous. Red ones have medicinal value. Purple ones are unknown. She suppressed the excitement in her heart. She picked the green edible plants and put them into the basket. It was soon full. By this time, it was already quite late. The other females had gone back early. Whether it was intentional or not, no one called her. She didn't mind. Carrying the basket and holding Shi Bei Wang, she walked towards the tribe. As soon as she returned to the tribe, Shi Yao felt the atmosphere was somewhat strange. A group of people were gathered in the center of the tribe. She moved closer to look. She saw a female lying on the ground, her face deathly pale. Her lower leg was badly swollen. The wound area also had a faint blackish-purple hue. It seemed like she had been bitten by a poisonous snake. The people around looked anxious and panicked. Where is the witch doctor? Why hasn't he come yet? Shi Yao looked carefully. The one bitten was that short-tempered female. It had nothing to do with her. She prepared to pour out the wild vegetables and go back to save them. Just as she turned around, Mina suddenly pointed at her and spoke loudly. It's all her fault, bringing that ill-omened child out, bringing misfortune upon us. That's why the poisonous snake bit me Duo. Shi Yao frowned. This is never ending. Ever since those few little monsters were born, nothing good ever happens in our tribe. Another young female jumped out, waving her arms emotionally. Before, there were tribesmen who got injured while hunting. Now, someone has been bitten by a snake. If it's not the bad luck they brought, then what is it? The witch doctor was right. They are monsters abandoned by the beast god. They should be driven out of the tribe. The female, lying on the ground, groaned in pain. The people around found these words more and more reasonable after hearing them. They all chimed in agreement. Drive them away. Otherwise, the tribe will suffer more disasters. Someone in the crowd shouted. Drive them out of the tribe. Shi Bei was so frightened by the situation that he held Shi Yao tightly. Shi Yao's gaze fell on the unconscious female. In her heart, she was dissatisfied with the crowd's previous accusations, but her instinct as a healer still made her feel somewhat unable to bear it. Is there really no other way? Ni Duo's several beast husbands asked anxiously, their faces full of despair. If Ni Duo dies, they cannot live either. The witch doctor sighed helplessly. This snake venom is too special. Unless it's the priest, there is only a slim hope. I am truly powerless. I'll take Ni Duo to the Black Forest tribe to seek treatment from the priest. Yes, to the Black Forest tribe, Cayenne. Are you too crazy? The Black Forest tribe is a 5-day journey from our tribe, not to mention the numerous dangers along the way. Can Ni Duo endure the hardship? Are you telling us to just wait for death? Shi Yao silently noted down the Black Forest tribe. She lowered her head to look at the trembling Shi Bei in her arms. This was undoubtedly an opportunity for them to prove themselves. Let me give it a try. Shi Yao's voice wasn't loud, but it clearly reached everyone's ears. The gazes of the crowd instantly gathered on her. Some were surprised, some were doubtful, but more were dissatisfied. What method could you possibly have? Even Wu Yi had no solution. Don't cause more trouble here. Shi Yao paid no attention to the other's mockery. She walked directly to the side of the injured female. Squatting down, she grasped that female's hand, seizing the chance to transfer a bit of healing energy into her. To stop the toxin from continuing to spread, she could actually use healing techniques to purify the toxin. But these people weren't worth it. And given the nature of these ungrateful people, if she recovered too quickly, they wouldn't know how to be grateful. They should be left in pain a bit longer. Only then would it leave a deep impression. I know of a kind of herbal medicine that might be able to counteract this poison. Ni Duo's two beast husbands, as if seeing a lifeline, immediately knelt down to beg her to save her. Calming down, they also understood that even if they rushed to the Black Forest tribe, Ni Duo wasn't guaranteed to be saved. Now that Shi Yao said she had a method, it was their only hope. Shi Yao, we beg you. You must save Ni Duo. Before, it was our duo who was in the wrong. I apologize to you on her behalf. From now on, we'll do anything you ask. Kai's eyes were red. His voice carried a sob and kept kowtowing. His forehead was bruised and bleeding. Shi Yao, we're begging you. Please save our duo. Seeing them in such a state, most of the anger in Shi Yao's heart dissipated. If Ni Duo died, these beast husbands of hers wouldn't survive either. Although she didn't like Ni Duo, she wouldn't let so many people die over a few verbal arguments. The fact that she could live a second life was probably due to saving lives and healing the injured in her previous life, accumulating virtue in exchange for this. Get up. Since I said I would save her, I won't stand by and do nothing. But it's almost dark now. I need someone to accompany me to gather herbs. Dale stepped forward. I'll go with you. I'm quite familiar with the mountains and forests. I can be of help. Several other young and strong beastmen also expressed their willingness to go along. They all understood that if Ni Duo really died, their tribe would not only lose a precious female, but also 5 strong beastmen at the same time. You, go prepare clean animal pelts and boil a pot of hot water. Remember to clean the pot thoroughly before boiling the water. He nodded hurriedly. Is there anything else needed? That's all for now. Shi Yao told Shi Bei to go home by himself. It was almost dark. If he didn't return soon, Shi Nan and Shi Mo would worry. Of course, they weren't worried about her. Worried that Zibei might be lost by her. Zhao Baby Eye, you go back first by yourself. Mother will be back soon. Go straight home. Don't run around. Zibei somewhat reluctantly hugged Shi Yao's calf. Mother, I want to go too. Shi Yao touched the deer antlers on his head. Be good, hurry back. If you're hungry, grill some meat to eat. Mother, you must come back early. Brother, and I will wait for you to come back. Zibei then turned back every 3 steps and ran towards the direction of the cave. Watching Zibei's figure disappear from sight, Shi Yao turned and walked with Dale and the others towards the outside of the tribe. The sky gradually darkened. Strange sounds occasionally came from the forest. Everyone's nerves were tense. Everyone, be careful. At this time, the wild beasts in the mountains and forests are starting to come out and move around. Dale reminded in a low voice. Everyone nodded, tightening the torches in their hands. Let's go to the place we gathered today. Where there are poisonous snakes, there must be an antidote nearby. Shi Yao remembered. There were many special plants at the gathering spot today. The group carefully advanced towards the direction of the tribe's gathering spot. The dry branches and leaves under their feet made crunching sounds. Under their steps, especially jarring in the silent mountain forest. Suddenly, a beastman walking in front slipped, almost falling. After steadying himself, he cursed under his breath. Dale glared at him, signaling for him to be quiet. The group continued forward. Just as they were getting close to their destination, Shi Yao keenly detected something in the grass ahead. Something was wriggling. Before he could make a move, the ORC beside him had already darted out and deliberately pulled out a green snake over a meter long. Seeing this, everyone became even more cautious. Sometimes snakes, insects, and poisonous ants are more dangerous than large birds of prey. Shi Yao's gaze swept the surroundings. His eyes fell on a plant emitting a red light. She had just seen the name of the venomous snake on Ni Duo, and quickly found the medicinal herb she was looking for. Just in case, she picked a few extra types. After getting the herbs, the few of them didn't dare to delay. They hurried back at a faster pace. Returning to the tribe, Ni Duo had already been moved to the square. Shi Yao stepped forward and handed the herbs to Kai, telling him to crush them and sent him to fetch hot water. The witch doctor, for some reason, hadn't left. Watching her busily working back and forth, his gaze was deep and heavy. Shi Yao pretended not to notice. Anyway, she had already offended her. She wasn't afraid of offending her more thoroughly. Dale, show your claws. What? Dale looked at Shi Yao with a puzzled expression, not understanding why she suddenly made such a request. What was it for? Hurry up and show them. It's useful. Dale was confused, but still revealed his sharp claws. She pointed at Ni Duo's swollen, blackened lower leg. Make an incision at the bite mark. Won't making an incision be too painful? The snake venom in Niduo is too potent. Relying solely on herbs isn't enough. We must squeeze out the poisoned blood first. Otherwise, the toxin will continue to spread. Even if the priestess comes, she will surely die. Dale gritted his teeth. He gripped Niduo's calf with one hand, holding her steady. Using his sharp claws, he made an incision on the area of Niduo's skin that was swollen and blackened. Although Niduo was unconscious, her body still trembled in pain. She let out a faint moan. Quick, help squeeze out the poisoned blood. Press like this. Shi Yao herself used both hands to press around the wound on Niduo's calf, squeezing out the poisoned blood. Dale and Kai followed Shi Yao's instructions, rhythmically pressing the skin around the wound. At first, the blood that came out was dark black, emitting a pungent, fishy smell. As they continued to press, the color of the blood gradually lightened. Shi Yao observed Niduo's reaction. The color of the flowing blood is about right now. Stop. The few of them stopped their actions. Shi Yao hadn't rinsed the wound for her with water. After the wound was cleaned, Shi Yao picked up the herbs she had prepared from nearby and applied the crushed herbs to Niduo's wound. Everyone gathered around, watching nervously. No one dared to make a sound. Till Ni Duo's face gradually regained a bit of color. The swelling on her calf also began to slowly subside. Only then did everyone breathe a sigh of relief. They started discussing animatedly. The witch doctor glanced at Ni Duo on the ground. His gaze rested on Shi Yao. I never expected she actually managed to save her. Everyone, you've seen it. Shi Yao and her child. Not only did they not bring misfortune to the tribe, but they also saved a tribesperson. We cannot harm our own companions, just because of some baseless suspicions. The few females who had accused Shi Yao earlier, upon hearing Dale's words, their faces showed expressions of shame. They all lowered their heads. Even the beastmen's gazes towards Shi Yao changed. The witch doctor's expression turned even worse. Dale was clearly slapping him in the face. If she really managed to save her, his prestige in the tribe would definitely be affected. He absolutely cannot allow this situation to happen. You can carry her back to rest now. Shi Yao, when will she wake up? Shi Yao got up from the ground, brushed the dust off her clothes. She'll wake at dawn. Tomorrow, go gather herbs yourself and change them for her. If you don't understand, come ask me again. After saying this, she turned and left. Shi Yao entered the cave. Warmth, carrying the aroma of roasted meat, rushed towards her. Shi Nan looked up and saw her, then quickly lowered his head, pretending not to see her. Shi Bei, however, immediately jumped up from the ground. With his short little legs, he happily ran to Shi Yao's side. He wrapped all four limbs around her calf. Hanging onto her, he climbed upward. Mom, you're finally back. Brother and I were worried about you. Who's worried about her? Shi Nan turned his head away, muttering under his breath. But the ears, hidden beneath his white fur, unconsciously turned red. Shi Yao smiled, scooped up Shi Bei, and held him in her arms. Then she looked at Shi Nan with an exaggerated expression. Wow, it smells so good. Thanks for grilling the meat for me, Zhao Nan. Who said it's for you? I'm grilling this for myself. Even as he said this, he sped up the turning of the meat. Mom, did you cure that bad female? Shi Yao held Shi Bei and sat down by the fire. Of course, when your mom takes action, no one is beyond saving. Wow, Mom is so amazing. Our Zhao Bei is amazing too. This burnt piece is for you. Shi Nan handed her the best grilled skewer, interrupting the conversation between the person and the beast. Shi Yao looked at the skewer Shi Nan handed over. It was golden in color, with a slight sheen of oil, not a bit burnt. Clearly the best grilled skewer. She couldn't hold back a laugh, reached out and took the skewer, deliberately exclaiming in surprise, "Oh, my, I thought Zhao Nan really gave me the burnt one. So this is actually the best one. Zhao Nan really does love me the most." Shi Nan uncomfortably turned his head away. Fortunately, he was currently in his beast form. Can't see any blushing. Eat it or not, I don't care. If you don't eat it, give it back to me. Although he said this with his mouth, his hand showed no intention of reaching over to take it. Shi Bei, take this to Shi Mo. Shi Nan handed another skewer of grilled meat to Shi Bei, telling him to take it to Shi Mo on the stone bed. Shi Bei licked his paw, opened his mouth and bit onto the meat skewer, and ran towards the stone bed. When he returned, Shi Nan handed another skewer of grilled meat to him. He then picked up another piece of meat himself, skewered it. Brother, let's eat together. Shi Bei tore off a piece of the palm-sized grilled meat and handed it to him. Shi Nan was slightly taken aback. His gaze fell on the small piece of grilled meat offered by Shi Bei. A wave of warmth surged in his heart. No need, you eat it yourself. Mine is almost ready. But Shi Bei was insistent, waving that piece of grilled meat in front of Shi Nan. Brother, just eat it, okay? Shi Nan couldn't resist, so he opened his mouth and accepted it. Shi Bei happily wagged his tail, plonked down beside Shi Nan, and started eating his own skewer of meat in big bites. Grease splattered to the corner of his mouth, wetting the fur around his mouth. Bao Shi, watching the interaction between the two brothers, felt somewhat moved. Her eyebrows and eyes unconsciously softened a little. She stretched her body. Feeling sticky all over was really uncomfortable. She hadn't noticed it much before. But once she thought about bathing, she felt itchy everywhere on her body, especially her head. Itchy, badly. Look towards the outside of the cave. The sky had completely darkened. She planned to take the two little ones to the river for a bath later. Shi Yao stood up and patted the non-existent dust off her body. She spoke to Shi Bei, who was eating happily. After finishing eating, we'll go to the river to take a bath. Shi Nan, who was turning the beast meat over the fire, paused. Shi Bei, with his mouth full of roasted meat, also stopped chewing instantly upon hearing this. Even his tail unconsciously clamped tight. Shi Nan was the first to snap back to reality. His tone carried a trace of resistance. If you want to wash, go by yourself. I'm not washing. His eyes dodged, not daring to look directly into Shi Yao's eyes, afraid that the fear in his eyes would be discovered by her. Shi Bei hurriedly swallowed the roasted meat in his mouth, so anxious that his voice became somewhat strained. Mother, it's dark outside. It's very dangerous. Let's not go wash, okay? His body trembled uncontrollably, his claws unconsciously digging into the ground. Shi Yao, seeing the unusual reactions of the two little ones, felt puzzled in her heart. No, you're so dirty. How can you sleep without a bath? Shi Bei's eyes reddened, his front paws tightly clutching Shi Nan's tail, and he said with a sob, Mother, I don't want to go to the river. Seeing their strong resistance, Shi Yao grew suspicious. She searched her mind for related memories. Shi Yao suddenly opened her eyes wide, her eyes filled with shock. After the shock, a dense, numbing pain spread through her heart. If you don't want to go to the river, then we won't go. Mother will fetch water and come back to wash you. Saying this, she walked towards the cave entrance with unsteady steps. Carrying the bucket, she went out. The night was as dark as ink. Shi Yao hurried towards the river with the bucket in hand. She recalled that horrifying memory. Her entire body trembled. She thought that being tied to a tree and thrown to the hunting team as bait was already excessive enough. But she never expected that right after they were born, the original owner had wanted to kill them, throwing them, still without even grown fur, into the frozen river. After all, they were her own children, born after months of pregnancy. How could she be so cruel? The moonlight shone on her, outlining her somewhat slender figure. She only felt cold all over. Shi Yao arrived at the river. The river water shimmered with sparkling ripples under the moonlight. She had no mind to appreciate the beautiful scenery at this moment. She cautiously looked around. After confirming there was no danger, she quickly took off her clothes and stepped into the river. The cool river water rose past her knees, instantly washing away her fatigue. She shivered, quickly cupped her hands to scoop up river water, and poured it over her shoulders and back. Only after getting used to the water temperature did she squat down, letting the river water rise past her shoulders. She scrubbed for a long time in the river, finally cleaning her body thoroughly. It felt like she had scrubbed off half a pound of dirt. She had previously laughed at other females. Never thought my own body would be this unclean. Raising a hand to touch the bird's nest-like hair. It's both greasy and tangled. If only there were scissors, she'd want to snip it all off into quick cuts. How did she have the nerve to laugh at others yesterday? Can't stand it anymore. So dirty. Is there any shampoo? How is she supposed to wash it? Just as she was irritably scratching her head, suddenly, her wrist grew warm. Looking down, a blue iris flower had appeared on her wrist. She widened her eyes in disbelief. Her terminal had returned. Shi Yao stared at the blue iris that had suddenly appeared on her wrist. Both shocked and overjoyed, she instinctively reached out to touch it with her finger. In an instant, a virtual interface emerged in her mind. The familiar operating interface nearly brought her to tears. This was no ordinary terminal. It was connected to a vast space. Inside it stored everything she had meticulously collected in her previous life. Her eyes swept from daily necessities to clothes and shoes, then to the cold weapons and firearms filling several shelves. She felt even more assured now. Shifting her focus back to the daily necessities section. Shampoo, Shi Yao silently called out in her heart. As soon as the words formed, a bottle of shampoo appeared in her hand. It was her favorite brand from her previous life. The familiar scent instantly stirred memories of the past. She wondered if the Zerg had been wiped out yet. Pulling her thoughts back, she squeezed the shampoo into her hand. Lather into foam. Apply to the tangled hair. Washed 3 times in a row. The sticky feeling on the head finally disappeared. Then apply hair essence. Wrap the hair up. Start bathing. The shower gel emitting a faint fragrance lay in her palm. Couldn't wait to stand up. Spread the shower gel all over the body. Washed twice in a row. Finally felt refreshed. She finished bathing and came ashore. Sighed comfortably. Changed into a clean animal skin skirt. Took out compressed laundry detergent from the midsection. Washed the dirty animal skin skirt. Packed things up. Drew a bucket of water. Carried it back. She didn't notice that in the big tree across the river lay a bird that looked like a rooster. His eyes were fixed unblinkingly on her departing figure. By now, he had shed his bird form, transformed into human form, clad in black, concealed within the night. When Shi Yao hadn't appeared, he initially wanted to avoid her. But thinking of the purpose of his trip, he dismissed the idea of leaving temporarily. And precisely because he didn't leave, he got to witness such a spectacular scene. This is the variable the high priest spoke of. Interesting. His figure flashed, resumed beast form, followed Shi Yao silently from behind. Shi Yao returned to the cave. Shi Nan and Shi Bei had already finished eating the roasted meat. The three little ones were sitting by the stone bed talking. Seeing her come in, they tacitly closed their mouths. Shi Yao hung up the animal skin skirt to dry. Carrying a water bucket, she came to the stone bed. She began to wipe their dirty fur and claws. This time, the three little ones didn't resist. They let her wipe them clean. Shi Yao had a feeling of being watched. But she looked around, and even went out of the cave to check. She didn't find anything unusual. She thought it was her own illusion, so she didn't take it to heart. Putting down the animal skin curtain, she thought she must make a door tomorrow. Just hanging an animal skin curtain really offers no sense of security at all. She sat by the fire waiting for her hair to dry, planning the tasks for tomorrow. She slept until daybreak. Just as she lifted the animal skin curtain, she saw several beastmen standing at the cave entrance. It almost gave her a fright. Is something wrong, Shi Yao? We're here to thank you. Thank you for saving our... She woke up and nodded vigorously, her face full of the relief of having survived a disaster. If it weren't for you, we really dare not imagine what would have happened. If you need anything, just give the order. We will definitely help you accomplish it. Shi Yao nodded. She really had something. Can you help me cut some wood from the mountain? She wanted to fence the yard. It would take at least several days for one person. That's naturally no problem. What kind do you need? You tell us. We'll help you move it back. Shi Yao didn't stand on ceremony. About the size of a fist will do. Roughly this tall. She gestured with her hand above her head. Then worried they might not understand, added just as tall as you all will suffice. She would make demands. They actually felt relieved instead. This is a small token of our appreciation, Kai said, taking the animal hides from another beast husband and handing them to her. Shi Yao didn't refuse, took the hides and glanced at them briefly. Should be about 4 or 5 pieces. And this, too. Pointed again at the bamboo tubes in another beast husband's hands. I guess your salt should be almost used up. This should be enough for you until the cold season ends. Thank you, was sincere. After eating food without salt for several days, her mouth felt so bland it could lure birds. It's the least we can do. There's also one more prey animal. After we return from the hunt and process it, we'll deliver it to you. Shi Yao nodded. Her gaze lingered on those few animal hides, and the bamboo tubes filled with salt. For her in her current situation, these things were receiving fuel in snowy weather. Her terminal had everything, except for seasonings. You are too kind. I'm also very happy to be able to help. Her injury still needs attention. Apart from the medicinal herbs I gave, don't use any given by others. If any problems arise, feel free to come find me. Also remembered the medicinal herbs the witch doctor sent over this morning. My heart skipped a beat. What would happen if other herbs were used? Shi Yao said this precisely to guard against the witch doctor. Seeing her reaction, he sensed something was wrong. If you want her to die then. Guan Kai's face instantly turned deathly pale. Fine beads of sweat broke out on his forehead. His voice trembled as he said, Shi Yao, this morning, I already gave Duoduo the herbs sent by the witch doctor. What should we do now? His eyes were filled with terror. His hands involuntarily clenched into fists. He constantly comforted himself in his heart. The witch doctor is highly skilled. It should be fine. Shi Yao's heart tightened. She hadn't expected them to actually use the witch doctor's medicine. She took a deep breath, trying her best to stay calm. How long has it been since she took the medicine? Seeing how serious she was, the veins on Kai's forehead bulged. We came here right after we changed her medicine. We haven't been at your place for long. Hearing this, Shi Yao secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It hasn't been too long. There's still a chance. Wait for me a moment. She returned to the house, quickly rummaged through her supplies and pulled out a small bottle. It contained an antidote. Although this antidote couldn't cure all diseases, it was effective against some common toxins. She found a clean bamboo section, poured the antidote into it, and brought it out to them. Take this and make her drink it. Don't ever give her random medicine again in the future. Even the priest couldn't save him. Yesterday, the witch doctor also said he couldn't be cured. But Shi Yao healed him. Now, they trust her completely. After accepting their thanks, she left. Shi Yao returned to the cave again. She glanced at Shi Mo's leg. The injury had almost recovered. The broken tail had scabbed over. It would still take time to grow back. I'm going to the mountain to find food. Who wants to come with me? Shi Bei wagged his tail. He was the first to dart out. Mom, I'll go with you. Shi Nan secretly perked up his ears. He wanted to go, but was too embarrassed to say it. Shi Mo looked at Shi Nan's expression. He understood his thoughts immediately, reached out to pat his head. Shi Nan tilted his head to avoid it. She didn't mind. Shi Nan, you come too. Boring, I'm not going. Shi Nan flicked his tail, turned his head away, putting on a disinterested look. Oh, all right then. I'll take Shi Mo and Shi Bei. Just as Shi Mo was about to nod, Shi Nan became unhappy. His injury isn't healed yet. How can you take him? You're just as bad as before. Shi Yao raised an eyebrow, looked at Shi Nan with a teasing smile. Weren't you the one who said it was boring and didn't want to go? Shi Nan's face flushed, stubbornly refuted. I really don't want to go. I'm just worried about Shi Mo. He's injured. And you're dragging him out to work. Big brother, you just want to go. But you're too embarrassed to admit it. Shi Nan was embarrassed and annoyed. He made a move to pounce on Shi Bei. Mother, big brother. He's going to hit me. Shi Yao stopped the two little ones, taking the chance to rub Shi Nan's belly a few times. Stop messing around. Then let's go together. After hearing this, Shi Nan still had a reluctant expression on his face. But his tail was unconsciously wagging. Mo, don't get on the ground for now. Shi Yao picked him up with one hand. Holding a rattan basket with the other, she walked out. Shi Nan and Shi Bei followed behind. One person and 3 beasts left the tribe. They walked up along the riverbank. Shi Yao wanted to test her identification ability. And in the meantime, for something that could replace Thieselt. She remembered there was a kind of fruit that produces salt. She didn't know what it was called. Thinking that the primitive forest had abundant species. It should be there. Along the way, they encountered many usable medicinal herbs and edible wild vegetables, all of which she collected into her space. The cold season was coming soon. Recently, the tribe's beastmen were all storing food for the winter. She naturally needed to as well. The tribe distributed food to the females every day. But the quantity was limited. The 3 cubs were at an age where they were growing and ate a lot. She had to stock up on more salt fruit. She didn't find it, but unexpectedly saw a lot of Chinese yam vines. Babies, it's time for you to contribute. She placed Shi Mo into the rattan basket to the side and waved to Shi Bei and Shi Nan. What do you need me to do? Shi Bei excitedly ran over. Did you see this? Dig down along this vine. This will be our food for the winter. Upon hearing it was food for the winter, the 3 little ones were very excited, thinking about last year when they had no food. Every day when hungry, they could only eat snow to stave off hunger. When truly starving, they had to nibble on grass leaves. Shi Nan still held a skeptical attitude. Are you sure there's something underneath? Believe your mother and you'll have food to eat. Shi Nan rolled her eyes hard. Believing her is what would lead to starvation. Shi Nan believed her mother wouldn't joke about such matters. Shi Bei, however, was full of drive. Immediately lay on the ground and started digging with his little claws. Despite his small size, he was not the least bit vague when it came to digging. His little body wriggled and squirmed. And soon, he had dug out a small hole. Mother, is really something good to eat underneath here? Shi Bei asked while looking up, still digging. His eyes were full of anticipation. Shi Yao smiled and nodded. Of course, as long as you keep digging a bit harder. You'll see the tasty food. Hearing this, Shi Bei put in even more effort. His claws dug rapidly, splattering mud everywhere. He wanted to dig up more, so they wouldn't go hungry during the cold season. Shi Nan, half believing, started to search around. Shi Mo couldn't sit still, leaning forward, wanting to help. Mother, I want to dig too. Shi Yao patted his head. Mo, your leg injury hasn't healed yet. Just lie in the basket. Wait until your injury is healed. Then search for more delicious food with us. Shi Mo felt somewhat dejected, feeling himself like a. Shi Bei dug with increasing. Finally, his claw touched something hard. Mother, I think I've dug something up. Shi Yao walked over, helped Shi Bei clean the surrounding soil. A long piece of Huaishan was revealed. Wow, we really dug it up. Zhao Bei is so great. Shi Nan also came over. He wanted to confirm if there really was food. Dig it out. Be careful not to break it. Shi Yao instructed. These two little ones, with Shi Yao's help, successfully dug out the first Huaishan. Mother, can this really be eaten? Shi Bei looked at the mud-covered, black-brown thing. Somewhat hesitant, Shi Yao picked up the arm-thick Huaishan and snapped it. The white, stringy flesh of the Huaishan was revealed. See, after washing it clean, remove the skin, cook it, and it can be eaten. They didn't ask if it was tasty. As long as it could fill their bellies during the cold season, they didn't care about the taste. If we don't break the skin or snap it, storing it until the cold season is no problem. Ray, really? Of course, believe mother. This cold season, I won't let you go hungry. Shi Nan didn't speak, ran back to the spot he had half dug and continued digging. Through their efforts, one by one, Huaishan were dug out, piled to the side. Shi Mo saw that Shi Bei and Shi Nan were busy, but he couldn't help. He felt very upset in his heart. If only he hadn't been injured. Suddenly, a fruit hit him on the head. It rolled into the mine. It hurt so much that he let out an "awu" sound. Already in a bad mood, he picked up the fruit and threw it. As luck would have it, it hit the tree trunk next to Shi Yao. Finally rolling to her feet, Shi Yao's gaze fell on the fist-sized fruit at her feet. 3 seconds later, the system automatically identified and detected the species characteristics: wild walnut, hard shell. The kernel is rich in oil and various nutrients. Edible, possesses extremely high energy replenishment value. Shi Yao slowly looked up, discovering a huge walnut tree right above their heads. It was full of fruit. Her gaze moved downward. There were many fruits on the grass that had fallen and were half rotten. What an unexpected surprise. She called to Shi Mo to pick up the walnuts on the ground. Mo, quickly look around. Gather more of this kind of fruit. This is really good stuff. Shi Mo rubbed his sore head where he had been hit. A flash of pleasant surprise in his eyes. Completely forgetting his earlier disappointment, he nodded repeatedly. He jumped out of the vine basket, picked up the walnuts that had rolled into the corners one by one, and put them into the basket. Like this one that's half rotten, it's about to go bad. Is it still edible? The part that isn't bad is called the walnut. It's just the skin that's bad. Inside there is still a hard outer shell. The flesh inside is still good. Shi Bei and Shi Nan heard the noise, curiously came closer. Mother, what is this? Shi Bei blinked his eyes, staring at the walnut on the ground, and asked. Shi Yao explained with a smile. This is called wild mountain walnut. You can eat them. Eating more walnuts will make you smarter. The two little ones heard this, immediately became interested, and also wanted to come help gather the walnuts. You two go dig up the Chinese yam first. That is the good stuff that can fill our bellies. Shi Bei and Shi Nan were very interested in the walnuts, but upon hearing Shi Yao say that the Chinese yam is the key to filling their bellies, they returned to the front of the yam vine and continued digging diligently. She took out a fin-like tool similar to a hoe from her mid-space. and started digging. The wild Chinese yam was very large, larger than her arm. They had only dug up 3 plants, but a small pile had already formed on the ground, enough for them to eat for a long time. "Mother, why is this Chinese yam so long?" Shi Bei, while panting heavily, frantically dug through the soil. His little paws were already covered in mud, and quite a few mud stains were visible on his body. "Yes, the longer it grows, the more nutrients it has stored. This way, we won't go hungry during the cold season," Shi Yao responded, while skillfully wielding the tool in her hand, similar to a hoe. Soon, she dug out another one. Shi Nan was not to be outdone. He mustered all his strength, buried his entire body in the soil, leaving only a small, furry butt exposed, vigorously digging away the soil around the Chinese yam from the outside. Shi Yao watched his little tail wagging back and forth, her hands feeling a bit itchy, really wanting to pull it out. She turned and grabbed Shi Bei instead. "Mom, why are you pulling my tail?" Shi Bei, in pain, struggled with all 4 limbs to free his tail, but was held tightly and couldn't break free. Shi Yao rubbed it a few times, before finally placing him back into the hole. A dull sound came from the woods, as if some large creature was running. Shi Yao immediately stopped what she was doing, stood up cautiously, and shielded the 3 little ones behind her. "Mom, is there danger?" Shi Bei asked in a low voice, a hint of tension in his tone. Shi Yao did not answer. She stared intently in the direction of the sound, gripping the hoe in her hand even tighter. As the chaotic, heavy footsteps grew closer, a dark figure darted out from the woods. It was actually a massive wild boar.